In this video, we'll be reviewing that amazing game between Wolves and Arsenal. We're going to talk about Rob Edwards' interview after the match and what he said about the fans. Is it okay? Did he mean it? We'll talk about it very shortly. Hello, welcome to the Fantasy FPL League. I'm Al, and we are mainly a podcast channel, but I thought, being a Wolves fan, I might as well do a match review of the amazing Wolves versus Arsenal game from last night. So first of all, I am very happy with the point. Obviously, doesn't really do much to get us safe because that's not going to happen right now, but it does get us 1 point closer in not beating that horrible record from Derby County. We don't want to be, obviously, the worst team ever in the Premiership, or Premier League, as we say it these days. But as a Wolves fan, it is great to have our say in the title race. And it is also great to stuff up the chances of Arsenal. But having said that, I'm not actually sure who I like less out of Arsenal or City. At this point, I probably like Arsenal a bit less. But oh well. So the first half was diabolical. I think the starting lineup does seem better on paper. It's a 3-5-2, but in reality, it's a 5-5. Armstrong and Mane both dropping back. And why not play that target man Tolu? It was weird to see him on the bench. We're against a very physical Arsenal team, and we've got Angel and Armstrong, who are actually quite tiny. Armstrong is 5'8", which is pretty short. He's like a mini Russell Crowe, and at the moment, he's definitely more my name is Jeff than my name is Maximus Decimus Aurelius. But let's see how they both develop. Angel is even smaller at 5'6". I was watching him walk off the other day, and he's absolutely tiny next to people like Sarr. Anyway, it is incredibly frustrating watching Wolves the way they set up. We aim to limit chances to half chances, see Forest and their 35 shots. But to the onlooker, it looks like we can't be bothered to press or even close down very much when they're in our half. It always seemed like Arsenal had a spare man, and when they get the ball, slowly one of our players will come across to make them move it on. It's horrible to watch, but it is a valid tactic. And Rob was right. We can't just go at Arsenal. We don't have the players to do that. They will react and they will just blow us away. We can't man-to-man mark Arsenal because they'll just drag us around the pitch. And does anyone really think that our players are actually fitter than Declan Rice? So we go one down really quickly. Mane isn't a defender, but he's been left to Saka. But we will carry on in the same vein. Gomez off, Tolu on. Gomez seems to have something wrong with his back. They knew that before the match as well. He is a doubt for Palace, so we'll see how that unfolds. So Tolu comes on, which is great because he usually wins first balls, but usually there's no one around with him to actually win the second ball, but luckily this time Mane and Armstrong were a little bit closer. Going forward, that's definitely something we need to work on. I'd like to see basically Armstrong and Mane orbiting Tolu. Tolu wins that first ball, and then one of them wins the second, which should then signal people like Bueno, Bellegarde, or Gomez, and whoever we decide to put on the right-hand side to get going so we can move the ball forward at pace. We don't seem to be able to move forward at pace. Chat needs a lot of work. We keep hearing that he's the fastest in the Premier League. He was the fastest in Serie A. But as Wolves fans, we've seen Traore already. Not the best final ball, not the best dribbler, but damn, he went at people, and we loved him for it. Chat has so much potential. He needs to be set free. He could be our main man on the break. Despite how rubbish people might think he is a top-level footballer. He's played in Serie A. He is in the Premier League. If Dave from Sunday League can do it, then he can do it. He just needs the license to have a go. Santi Bueno, he's looking good, very assured, looking like a future captain. Krejci, I do like Krejci a lot, but he made a few mistakes today. Usually very composed, but he gave the ball cheaply a few times that I saw. I'd definitely continue to start him, though, in a three-man defence. Mosquera was his crazy, brilliant self. He's the perfect foil to the Arsenal dark arts. He acts nice, giving high fives to the opposition after tackles and stuff like that, but he lulls them into a false sense of security. I like it. He doesn't let them know he's there because that's gonna motivate them into trying really hard. He's like, hey, yeah, I'm Mosquera, we're all friends, yeah. And then he gets them. I do like his psychological game. However, he's not a long thrower. He needs to have a word with Andy Legg, give him a ring and work on his technique next time we have an international break. Bellegarde, different today, different body language since coming back. I like him in the middle. I'm not sure we played him so long as a number 10 so often right at the start, but he has been good in midfield. He was our only good player against United before he went off injured. Mane was good, causes problems, and he's got that superhero Rashford out of his system now, so he's not taking crazy shots anymore and seeing the headlines the next morning. He's shown that he's got great vision. He sprayed a great ball off to, I think it was Rodrigo on the right near the end, and he's willing to have the ball in very tight spaces, just like someone like Cunha used to. Well, still does for United. Very handy to have around, albeit he did have a fairly quiet game. Andre was okay, a bit sloppy first half, but fairly solid. Runs well off the ball, and he doesn't give up as much as, say, João Gomez seems to be doing lately. Sarr, very solid today. Couldn't do too much about the goals. And other than that, though, didn't really have much to do, did he? But he still doesn't know how to kick. It was a great goal from Hugo. We've got to use first names with Wolves players, don't we? So you know which one we're talking about. I'd like to see much more of that, but he was given space. When he's playing, he looks like he wants to get to the byline and put a cross in, but often has to recycle. He's at fault for their goal, but it was pretty marginable, and Hincapié did curve his run really well, so I'm not too upset about that. It wasn't a complete switching off, but in him and Mola Wolf, we do seem to have two decent players on the left. So we get the goal, such a fantastic goal. It's the goal he should have got at Everton, but for an amazing save from Pickford. Do you find that keepers seem to be on something when we play them? Tolu should have got a goal against West Ham as well, but Areola made a ridiculous save. Anyway, at 84 minutes, Bellegarde comes off, unfortunate to get a yellow card. I think it was Zubimendo or someone like that. He basically ran across the back of Bellegarde's legs. He couldn't really do much about it. So anyway, Tomadozi comes on. Edwards barely knows anything about him, let alone us. Apparently he put him on because he had a feeling. His first few touches weren't the best, but wow, he did the thing that our players can rarely do, and that is take his chance when it came to him. I should rewind a little bit here, actually, because special mention to our 12th man, Leandro Trossard. I told you the dark arts don't really work against Wolves. He got a little slap, but held his face like he got hit by a mallet and then hobbled off because somehow it affected his legs as well. Replaced by Calafiori. I'm glad the goal has been given to Adozi because, wow, he definitely deserved it. He smashed it towards the goal. Not unlike that other one Menezes smashed in, but it was counted as an own goal. But this time, it's hit Calafiori, it's hit the post, it's hit Calafiori again. I'm pretty sure at some point in there it bounced over the line and it's gone in. At first it was given to him, then it was given as an own goal. But now finally, it's definitely an Adozi goal. So it's 2-2. The title is now in City's hands. It's actually in Arsenal's hands as well, because if Arsenal win all their games, they do win. But everyone's talking like Arsenal have already bottled it. It's in City's hands. And despite City not being that great this year, as no one really has in the Premier League, City are going to win all the games and Arsenal have lost it. So you should have learned from Wolves at Grimsby, Arteta, because we played to the surface. And you didn't play like it was a cold, snowy Wednesday night in Wolverhampton. You played like you deserved to win. But sorry, this isn't last year. There's only one bad team in the Prem this year. Granted, it is us. But we're actually the worst of a very good bunch. And for proof, just look at the Champions League table. This is why the Premier League is the best league in the world. Anyone can get beaten by anyone on their day. So always respect your opposition. Man of the match. Well, in the second half, Mane gave quite an assured performance that relieved quite a lot of pressure. Tolu is much better footballer than people give him credit for, and he's very good at winning the ball. Santi was excellent again. My head would choose one of them, but my heart says despite Adozi playing 10 minutes and Bueno being at fault for the first goal, the amount of joy those two have given the crowd, maybe they should get it, but I'm not subject to such simple emotions, so I'm going to give it to Tolu. And we need to use him better. The fun didn't end there, though. At the final whistle, Jesus gets wound up by Mascara and pushes him over, and Mascara duly obliges. He grabs his face and he falls over. Silly little Jesus, you've been done, mate. So he got a yellow card. I wonder if retroactively it's going to be changed to red, but we'll see. But there was more than that. There was the interviews. Arteta was basically crying, and he didn't argue or get angry like Pep does. He was just really, really upset. But then came Rob Edwards. Ooh.
I would have liked probably a little bit more backing at that point, if I'm being honest.
So Rob Edwards, he wanted a bit more support from the fans, and the interviewer smelt blood and he wouldn't let it go.
Sorry, just to clarify, I would have liked a bit more backing from the supporters at moments tonight.
I just think we've got to realise what we're up against in that moment at that time as well, and the lads are fighting hard, but Arsenal are really good.
So when Wolves are playing 10 men behind the ball and hoofing it and losing it, he wanted more support. Now, he was here, he was manager when people weren't coming in for the first 15 minutes, and when people had a bit of A4 paper with a sign on it. I didn't think what he said meant to sound as bad as he did, but then he pulled this face.
Arsenal are really good.
Basically, we should cheer because of how good Arsenal are. Came across a bit narcissistic, especially the look he had in his eyes when he said it. That's not how it works, Rob. Fans find it hard to force themselves to cheer, and most people simply react. Granted, the South Bank are amazing and probably come up with the best chants in English football. And the North Bank, they chant the North Bank. But in general, if something excites them, then they get excited. If they're faced with dull football, with stray passes, then they're going to react accordingly. Bear in mind, Wolves have got nothing to play for, apart from not beating Derby's record and maybe trying to catch Burnley. If this was a big game, then a performance like that might get fans excited, because we'd be frustrating the big team, but we'll be trying to get into Europe or win a cup game or something like that. Fans want us to be brave and play on the front foot. Now we've got nothing to lose. Don't forget, in the last 8 or so years, fans have got used to the beautiful Nuno low block, breaking at pace. Even Gary O'Neill's full season, when we played some beautiful stuff. Our current low block is ugly. From Nuno all the way to Pereira, we've actually been very good at playing ourselves out of tight spaces and beating presses. Without players like Aït-Nouri, Semedo, Cunha, Neves, Moutinho, we're nowhere near as good as that now. We tend to just hoof it up to Tolu and then it comes straight back. But having said that, it can get results. So I understand why you'd play like that at 0-0. And then people might wonder why you're still playing like that at 1-0. But I still get it. We can nick a point. But at 2-0, as often happens when Wolves are down by 2 goals, they start springing into life because now we have nothing to lose. The second half was wonderful, but all it did was give fans hope that we can be like that against lesser teams. And we probably won't. Not while Rob thinks we got something to lose, i.e. a few points. Now, in fairness, he tried to backtrack as much as he could and said fans had the right to be upset. He just wanted support, unconditional support, like that of a mother to her child. Well, it's hard when faced with constant disappointment. But nights like tonight, though, give fans more of that, and they will give you support. Try hard, don't be useless, don't make the same mistakes over and over, and then they will cheer. That's all they want. Now the fans will have hope, though, against an out-of-form Palace side. Of course, we will be expecting Strand Larsen to score. It's in the rules. He's got to score. But if we set up to hang onto a 1-0 deficit again, people aren't going to be happy. Having said that, it is away, and Wolves away fans are beautiful souls. Remember Jorgen, if you do score, these are the fans that were singing your name when the home fans were sarcastically clapping you off when you got substituted. Be nice. Don't go Neto mad. Keep your fingers out your ears, smile and wave. So going forward, it does look like we're going to catch the points record set by Derby. So that's not really an issue. We've got plenty of games left. We don't need to be doing a crap low block all this time. But because we lack so much pace, maybe you could use Chachu better on the right. But to be fair, he needs work, so maybe it's time to give Pedro Lima or Rodrigo a little bit of a run, give him a little rest, work on him in training. Maybe he can come back. Maybe he can come on in the second half if we've got something to defend and he can get that break going. Because too often we break and it's just slow and nothing happens. They get the ball back and then we're under pressure already again. Tolu is so good at winning balls. People just need to be there to get the second ball. He wins the ball and no one's there. Armstrong's nowhere to be seen. He just goes missing. I know it's only been a few games and he did assist in his first game, but I'd like to see Mane and Armstrong around Tolu, get that second ball. He can go away, shoot off. We can spread the ball out to people who know they're doing with it. But Bueno on the left, Gomez or Lima on the right, someone like that. I just want to see a bit more intent and not just like we're playing like we're England versus Argentina 1998. Anyway, that was my first Wolves match review video. If anyone's out there and you'd like to see more of this, let me know. If you think I should shut up and never do it again, you can let me know that as well. If you are interested in listening to the football podcast, it is just about football, a bit of FPL in there as well. Just a light-hearted look at the week's football. We'd love to have you along. It usually goes out every Tuesday after the week's football, ready for the new week. So, that's available on all good podcast places. Obviously, we're here as well on YouTube. So we'd love you to stick around. If you enjoyed this and you just love football, give us a like or a subscribe. And until next time, thank you very much for listening. Up the Wolves.